Hello everyone, so this is another reading from my book Pieces, 52 Short Stories About Being Human. Today we read in chapter 22, Discipline. And the paragraph I'll read you is here, and then we'll have a little chat. It dawned on me that although I really did not like doing what I was told, it was actually easier to follow someone else's instructions and orders than disciplining myself. Very quickly after becoming fully self-employed, it became clear that without discipline, I would not get far at all. Now I was completely in charge of my own life, my work, my timetable. I had to make sure I wake up on time. I do the marketing, I do the accounting, I do everything that needs to be done before I watch TV, go for coffee with a friend, or even go to sleep. Initially, it was pretty hard to motivate myself to do the jobs I did not enjoy so much, especially when I did not feel like it, I was tired or ill. It took few fails, some of them quite spectacular, before I realized it was all up to me. This is what being an adult was actually about. If I wanted any kind of success in my life, however you define it, I had to take responsibility for myself and my actions completely. There was no one to delegate to, no one to blame, no one to push me, motivate me, make me do anything. Just me, myself, and I. They say that habits die hard, and I must admit it took some time and considerable effort, as well as many fails, before I got it right. I got progressively better at doing what really needed to be done first. I did my best to be realistic when setting my schedule for the day and to seek help when needed. So this is obviously just a paragraph out of the book. But discipline is a funny one for me because it's something just even the word I really could not stand. I hated it. I just always connected it with my childhood and being controlled, being told what to do without really, no one ever bothered explaining why they want me to do the things the way they want me to do. And usually they were really more for their benefit than mine. The kind of old-fashioned attitude of you're a child, so you should just shut up and put up and get on with it and do as you're told, and you have no autonomy whatsoever, which with my personality really didn't go well. So as a child I had tantrums. I also went through a stage of compliance, kind of over compliance, which damaged my relationship with my friends because I just did what I was told even there. So my confidence was shattered. But then I kind of, as a teenager, started to rebel, and we had massive arguments at home with both my parents because I just refused to do anything and that I was told, and was forcefully, making my way. And of course that wasn't helpful either. And I just, since I was very little, I just always wanted to leave home, be on my own and do my own thing. So looking back, I have to laugh because my own thing at the time was watching what I want on TV, eating what I like, eating when I fancy, going out whenever I want to, coming home whenever I want to without answering to anyone. It's only now, 30, almost 40 years later, when I realized how naive I was and that life really doesn't work like that, and that I still, as long as I was employed, as long as I was in relationships, there was always someone to answer to one way or another. If I was in a relationship, I still had to consider the other person and tell them when I'm coming home or what my plans were. And at work, I still had to, especially in the police. I mean, me joining police when I didn't like a discipline, I had to follow orders, and sometimes orders I really didn't like and agree with. So it was that was challenging, but at least I was getting paid as opposed to when I was little. So discipline was it had quite a negative connotation for me, really, and for me it basically meant at the time doing something I don't want to do because someone else says so, either for the benefit of keeping peace or getting money or whatever. It was just something that was done. But when I became self-employed, I really realized what discipline actually means and how important it is. Generally in life, really, not just at work, but when it comes to healthy eating, exercising, um, because all these things, they have elements to them that are very enjoyable, but they also have elements that are not so much. Like I used to exercise in a park, and it was great when the weather was nice, not so much when it was pouring down with rain. And it's those times when it was pouring down with rain, when it was snowing and freezing, where I had to engage discipline and just get out of bed, get out of the house, and go and do the exercise. um, the same with food, like certain things I was eating were making me sick. So in order to be able to work, because there was no sick pay, I had to make sure I stay healthy. So it wasn't just for the feeling of health, but it was also important for so many other reasons. um, and of course at work, I loved doing massage, loved doing therapy, that was great. I didn't enjoy so much the kind of admin stuff, the uh, looking after the social media and the website and all that. And although that wasn't that bad, I got used to it. But accounting to this day, oh my goodness. Like right now, I still have on my to-do list to do the accounting for last year, and I just keep putting it off. Oh, I have a baby. That's my excuse. But really, it's because I have a baby that I have to stop using that excuse and just get it done. And really, with the discipline, I kind of got to kind of 80% success. Like I was really kind of like, okay, I'm getting them more or less all of the time. Um, but it wasn't really until I became pregnant when I truly understood where the discipline comes from, when it's easy, when it's not that critical part of you, that kind of the critical parent is on you. Oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, all these shoulds. When that self-discipline just kind of emerges as a tool that comes from really deep desire within, and it's kind of easy. Like the things you do still might be challenging, but the energy to do it comes easily. And I found it fascinating because I've just never experienced that before in my life. Although I love my business, I love my work, that kind of drive that came from being pregnant and suddenly being responsible for this new being, was just incredible. Book I was writing for, like, by then 3 years, I finished in 3 months. I literally wrote more in 3 months than I did in those 3 years, because I knew I needed to get it out there. Because I was trying to cover every avenue I could find to be able to provide for my child. Healthy eating, choosing the right food just became so easy because it really mattered to me how I affect my child. And I don't know, it just felt so natural to choose the healthiest stuff and not to eat sugary bits too much, and not to live on ice cream as it has happened in the past, or eat the whole jar of Nutella. Exercise the same, just to kind of listen to my body more and exercising so I was fit and I was healthy, to ensure my pregnancy went well and then beyond. Now it still continues. I have to be healthy because there's no one else to take care of him. If I'm ill, there's no one. I have to take care of him. So to be able to be the best mother I can be, to be able to fit mother, I have to look after myself. I still have to be my own priority, and my work still has to be priority because at the moment I rely on the government, but I can't do that forever, nor I want to. So I'm constantly looking for new ways of how to kind of be able to look after my boy, as well as I can do, and as well provide financially. So but the drive, the motivation to do things. So whenever he's asleep during the day, I do stuff. Like I just find ways of managing the time in a way that I can get stuff done. And just a few years ago, that would be really difficult. Instead, in those times when he's asleep, I would be just watching telly, instead of doing stuff, or reading some nice book so I could take my mind off things. But I just feel really motivated. Of course, I still find time to rest and to enjoy myself, but also make sure that at least something gets done every day from my to-do list. And this newfound discipline comes from having him, from having Ollie, from being a mother, from I found my thing, that's drive. And obviously that's not the same for everyone, I wish myself, doing it for me would be enough. Or, for some people it's God, for some people it's specific goal, some kind of making some change in the world or in the environment, whatever it is that drives you. I'm not saying that everyone should go and become a parent. I mean, if that's what's doing it for you, fair enough. But for lots of people, what can drive them is other things, like I said, like deity or a religion or some specific goal that they want to work towards, and then they can kind of do everything for it. And you often see it with successful people, really, those that are positively successful, that they kind of give everything to their goal, whatever their goal is. Their motivation seems to come easy, like sports people, like getting up at crazy hours and working out through pain, and eating really healthily and not drinking when others are partying and enjoying themselves, but they don't seem to regret it. They seem to find it really, not that they don't find it challenging, but the energy comes easy. They do it, and they know what they're doing it for, and it drives them, and they want more and more of that, and they have more energy to do that. So I think with discipline, it shouldn't be about the way I think we normally think about it, is disciplining like our children, or having discipline in like workplace, like for example, in a police or army or stuff. But that it's something that comes from within. It comes as a tool for us to be able to achieve what we want to achieve, and that desire comes from deep within. And whatever your desire is for, I hope you be able to discover it, the true desire, and I'm pretty sure the discipline will come with it for you to achieve what is it that you desire. So that's it. And there's obviously more in the book, so feel free to read it and let me know what you think about it. I always like it when my readers write to me and say, oh, I really like this chapter or that chapter, or that really spoke to me. I really agree with this, or I kind of disagree with that, and I really like that, and I like those discussions. So please do comment or write to me what you think of any particular chapters that perhaps particularly stood out to you. All right, have a lovely weekend.